Let's make peanut butter soup with cured lamb shank and meatballs. Yes, you heard me right. And we're serving it over noodles. You heard that right too. Now let's cure the lamb. With grains of selim, star anise, green cardamom, rosemary, bay leaves, peppercorns. I happen to have the green peppercorns in the whole, so I use those, but you can use white, black, red, whatever kind of peppercorns you have will do. Now we're curing, so we need salt, and I have some Himalayan salt, and you need a generous amount to cure properly. Now the lamb was frozen solid. Brought it out of the freezer, washed it thoroughly, but did not allow it to completely thaw, because we're going to slowly cure this over 1 day in the fridge. Just 1 day, 24 hours. So the next day is here, and on coming out of the fridge and removing that lid, you should be greeted with that warm, that sweet essence of curing lamb. Tolo beef style, absolutely worth it. If you're going to try this recipe, I urge you to not skip this step. Totally worth it. We're going to begin cooking by first searing the lamb. Now, before we do that, we're going to add some minced onion to it. So we did not cure the lamb with the onion, but this is a good time to introduce that onion essence. All right, we're going to sear it on medium-high heat to introduce that nutty flavor too, which is another layer of flavor. It's going to bring this whole thing together and make it so yummy. Now, previously, I made some meatballs. Now, to store them, I flash freeze them first, and then I select what I'm going to use for the recipe, and what I will not use returns to the freezer in a Ziploc bag. Now, to sear the meat, you need fat, and the fat of choice today is the peanut oil, because we're making peanut butter soup, so why not? And I have it available because it settles on the top when you make it homemade. You roast them first and you blend them, you store them, and the oil just naturally settles on the top. All right, so that's searing. Now I have some ginger I'm chopping up, some onion also going into the blender, some chilies for heat, green seasoning mix, more garlic, and some water. I said more garlic because I have garlic in the green seasoning, but this soup could use even more garlics. So blend it all up into a smooth puree and pour it into your seared lamb. Now is a good time to go in with your tomato paste, followed by the rest of your protein, which in this case is the meatballs. Yes, meatballs in peanut butter. So just watch and see how it comes together. Now I have some tomatoes in the whole, bell pepper, red is preferable, a whole onion, a barrette in the form of fresh basil, a barrette. My seasonings now go in, and spices as well. So I've added my dry herb and spice blend, salt, crushed black pepper, a combo of onion and garlic granules, and a little bit of water. Now we bring it to a boil with the lid on for 15 minutes. We go back and fetch the whole vegetables. So the bell pepper, the onion, the tomatoes all come back into a blender. And we're going to blend it real smooth. Perfect. Throw the lid back on and continue to cook. Now, because the meatballs were frozen, which is very important, it stays together. Of course, it will thaw as it cooks, but it also firms up and will not disintegrate. Now, we're blending, but before that, we're adding our peanut butter and, of course, some water. And we're going to blend everything into a very, very smooth puree. If your blender is unable to blend into a smooth puree, then you must strain. All right, strain it thoroughly. And then in a non-stick pot or non-stick saucepan, you're going to cook this peanut butter and vegetable puree separately until the oil resurfaces. Now we're boiling some water because we're going to be cooking our noodles. We're checking on this. It's been about 10 extra minutes, and see how the meatballs are still together, nothing disintegrated. We pour in our peanut butter mixture. We cook that for about 15 minutes also, all right, while the base of the soup was cooking. And what you want to see is the oil resurfacing, the oil from the peanut butter. All right, and that looks absolutely gorgeous. Now we added some water to it after we added the peanut mixture because we want to thin it up. Now this peanut butter soup is going to be lighter in terms of consistency because of how I'm serving it. Now I'm bringing some water to a boil because I'm going to be cooking my noodles. Now I have some onions here, and this is how I like to finish cooking my peanut butter soup. It just brings so much more flavor. I'm going to caramelize some onions, sliced thinly. So in the pot, I pour in some oil, and then I go in with my onions and caramelize them, or until I see that golden brown action. Then I blend it with some water and fresh ginger root. And that's how I like to finish cooking my peanut butter soup. So try that and thank me later. You would love it, absolutely. Caramelized onions and fresh ginger to finish your peanut butter soup preparation is just brilliant. You will love it. All right, so since adding the peanut butter and the vegetable puree and the water, I have been cooking a further 25 minutes. Now, mind you, the peanut butter mixture was already cooked. All right, so we don't need to continue to cook for a prolonged period of time. Now we've added the caramelized onions, pureed with the ginger. Now I'm tasting and I realize I need a little more seasoning, so I go in with some salt, and that should just do it. It is perfect. Now you know your peanut butter soup is cooked through when the oil begins to resurface. And that's a good time to finish it with the caramelized onions and the ginger. Throw the lid back on, continue cooking a further maybe 10 minutes or so. And yes, before we turn the heat off, we're going to add some more vegetables. This time we're going to cut them up into bite-sized pieces. And because of how I chose to serve this peanut butter soup, I will be adding some russet potato, carrots, green bell pepper, and red bell pepper. I'm going to add the carrots and the potatoes first and let them cook until fork tenderness is reached, and then I'll go in with the bell peppers, and then we'll be done cooking. Now, my children love peanut butter soup this way, cooked this way on noodles. And if you've never tried it, please be inspired to, because it is so good. It is so good. It is so good. Yes, yes, yes. Perfection. Now let's cook our noodles. I'm using spaghetti today. All right, friends. So my children are noodle fanatics. They adore ramen, Vietnamese pho, any soup pasta you can think of. So I decided to serve them Ghanaian style noodles in a soup. And I hope this sparks your creativity to reinvent dishes you grew up loving, giving them a fresh new twist. Yes, friends. So now I'm looking for the potatoes and the carrots to make sure they have reached fork tenderness. And yeah, we have reached fork tenderness. So now I am also looking for the oil, which we've confirmed is resurfaced. So now I'm going to go in with one final finishing touch, which is our bell peppers. And yes, once that goes in, I don't overcook. I'm ready to turn the heat off in about a minute. And yes, our noodles have also cooked, and I cooked them not al dente this time, but soft, all right? Because yeah, you want your noodles to be soft, especially when you're serving it in a soup. Now, I'm going to add some fresh, crunchy vegetables. I have green cabbage, red onion, fresh tomatoes, and I'm also grating some carrots. I will also be adding some chopped scallion. Yes, and I feel all of these crunchy fresh vegetables is a way to bring that fun brightness to every serving. Our soup is ready. It's nice and hot. And yes, you want it to be nice and hot when you serve it. Now, this soup is inspired by Ghanaian peanut butter soup. We also call it groundnut soup. And it's typically served with fufu, abetie, or kunkunte. It's also served with rice balls, yam, things like that. Hardly ever noodles. So yeah, definitely hope that this will inspire you to try it, a different twist to the way you serve this soup. It's so yummy. It is so, so, so yummy. We also will typically not use meatballs to cook a soup like this and leave chunks of bright, vibrant vegetables in it. So try it. I really, really hope that this inspires you. My children love it, and I know yours will love it too. Yes, and those crunchy vegetables in there, especially those onions and scallions. Oh, so yummy. Friends, I thank you so much for watching. I hope you're inspired. Yeah, my kiddos are ready to chow down. Look at the meat. Look at that cured lamb. Do you see how tender, how juicy it is? I really enjoyed it myself. And you can actually have this soup by itself because it's got chunks of it. It's very filling, it's hearty, and yes, it's very satisfying. Look at the meatball. See how it stayed together? Did not disintegrate, did not fall apart. It's juicy and yummy. Happy cooking to you all. Make sure you like the video, share, leave a comment, subscribe, turn your notifications on, and come back with feedback. Make it a great day and have fun, especially in that kitchen.